Welcome back to the Upon the Hockey Eagles postgame show live at Ocean Casino. Eagles win it 23-14, and they apparently they watched the Phillies last night because they pitched a shutout in the second half, which is amazing when you talk about a quarterback like Matthew Stafford. So joining us right now, of course, and I want to let you know that John McMullen will join us live from SoFi Stadium coming up in a bit. He's roughing it out there in Los Angeles. He'll join us for a segment. But right now, let's welcome in our man, Mark Farzetta, brought to us by First Trust Bank. The player you can count on today, Mark, has to be, well, I'm thinking it could be the quarterback, Jalen Hurts, even though we're talking about how great the defense was.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Jalen Hurts delivered today. I mean, there was an interception, obviously, he had at the 1 yard line, ended up being a touchback there given to the Rams, and he had a great game. Jalen Hurts, he did a great job today of really surveying the field and doing exactly what he needed to do, both with his arm and with his legs. And I think one of the biggest differences we've seen from Jalen Hurts so far this year is his ability to now stand in the pocket and make throws downfield. But the guy I got to go with, Mike, is a guy we were calling for in the pregame show, a guy you could certainly bank on, and I feel like they could have banked on him more to this point. Dallas Goedert came into the game today with 88 receiving yards, and he tops that in one game. Did better today than what he did in the previous 4. He has been a guy that could bank on in the run game, and today he got to show off what he could do to help the passing game of the Philadelphia Eagles. That's the man I'm going to go with today, Dallas Goedert.
It's a pretty good choice, and I like it. But let's talk a little about Hurts here because we haven't really talked about it. He accounted for 375 yards today. He threw for 295. He rushed for 72 more. Now, I didn't like a couple of those design running plays of his. The scrambles are fine, but they did have him carry the ball in a couple of weird situations where they allowed him to get banged up. But the interception that he threw, Seth, it looked like he checked, again, the single coverage. He seems to get himself in trouble when he checks that single coverage, looking for A.J. with the A.J.I., and Witherspoon picked him there. And he got into a confrontation on the sidelines, well, a little heated discussion with the head football coach. We were talking about this, and D. Gunn's going, you can't talk to players that way anymore. You got to smooth their feelings out.
Oh,
and you're going, no, he deserved to have his butt chewed out in that situation.
Hey, listen, man, I'm old school, so I'm never going to be opposed to a coach holding his player accountable, because I know I've been around a lot of great players, in my career. Show me a great player that doesn't want to be coached hard, and I'll show you a player who doesn't want to be great, plain and simple, And if I'm going to lose a guy as a coach because he gets in his feelings, because I get on him, well, he can come on over and sit next to me, especially in today's game, because in today's game, you're playing, sometimes 2-3 deep, for rotational purposes. And if he's got a problem with it, that's his problem.
No.
But
you got to pick your spots, though.
No, absolutely.
A guy like Jalen, you can do that, too.
I understand
He's been used to being Coach Hart his whole life, right?
Listen,
you won't be able to do that to a guy like A.J. Brown.
There's no doubt about it. In that situation, he deserved, to get his behind chewed just because you're in scoring position already. You're on the 20-yard line, and you make that check. All you got to do is just run the offense. And I'm pretty sure Nick was like, okay, you checked last week at the end of the game. You scored a touchdown, but you give them another possession. They come back and tie the game. We got to go into overtime. Okay, I covered for you. I said that, you know what, there's never a time where I'm upset with my quarterback for scoring touchdowns, okay? That was clearly a cover for Jalen Hurts. Now he gets down the red zone this week, and he checks, okay, and he throws the interception. Maybe he's telling them, all right, let's rein in these checks a little bit. And there's nothing wrong. He probably made the right check. He just threw a bad ball, and sometimes that happens.
D. Gunn, come back at him because I know you were being facetious probably about the whole thing about players getting chewed out on the sidelines. Right?
No, because I've talked to so many friends of mine who are former players, and I jokingly ask them, "Why are you not coaching in the NFL?" And in unison, they all say, "Man, I can't coach these players nowadays because they were from Seth's era, where a coach treated you the same." Where everybody got chewed out and everybody got, accolades when they were called for. And a lot of former players would tell me nowadays you need 53 individual psychologists to coach these players nowadays. And it's true. Some players, think about it. You yell at them, they shut down. You think about this. Think about this. Think about what Diggs went through this summer. And we still don't know the whole scenario with Diggs. All of a sudden, he's with the team. He's away from the team. Your franchise quarterback, Josh Allen, comes out and says, "Oh, I think we need to include him more in certain things." What? He's a paid employee. He gets treated like everybody else. That's too commonplace in today's game. There are phenomenal athletes in today's game of football, and I will go so far as to say, I know I'm going to create a stir when I say this. I will say today's athlete, just in terms of athleticism, is more athletic than the football players of 15, 20 years ago.
I would agree with that.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, man, I thought I was going to have to call the bodyguard.
You use the word athletic. He's probably thinking the word tough.
No.
I think the players today are mentally softer than when he played.
No doubt about that.
But I think they're more athletic than when he played.
Look,
it's an evolution.
Look at the 40 times that the players are running.
You got linemen running 4, 5, 4, 6.
So, yeah.
Well, listen, I don't ascribe that kind of stuff as athletic. What I say when I say athletic, they're bigger, they're stronger, they're faster, and they have more knowledge, okay? They don't know how to apply the knowledge the way that we did in my day. They're better athletes. But the brand of football that you're seeing, like if you took my Eagles defense and you inserted it in today's NFL, even if you took away the aggressive hitting, we would dominate them because we outthought those players. Like, I would probably have 200 tackles in a season. I'm serious.
Are we playing by your rules or are we playing by today's rules?
It's not even my point is it's not even the rules, okay? Like, listen, I've been in an NFL camp before, okay? So I went in and did an internship. When I got there, they gave us one of these things, okay?
Yeah.
So they said, everything you need is on here, okay? The playbook is on here. The game plan will be on here. All the video and everything. By the time you get off the field when practice is over, every individual period and every period of practice will be uploaded on here. So as I'm sitting in meetings, I'm watching these kids come in, and all they have is this. They reach in their backpack and they pull out this, okay? So they're living their life on this. I grew up with this and this, okay? So this allowed me to see what I needed to see, but this allowed me to remember what I studied, okay? So when the team came out, down and distance, part of the field, offensive formation and personnel, I could almost tell you what they were going to run situationally. These guys today, they don't know what the hell they're looking at.
You're writing it down in your little notebook there. So here's the thing. We don't write anymore. Nobody writes anymore, right?
Everything is.
So they're not going to take the notes.
So two things. If I was a coach in today's NFL, don't come in my meeting room if you don't come in here with a pen and a piece of paper.
All right.
Turn around and get out.
All right. I'm glad you said that.
That's the first thing, okay? The second thing is, the second thing is by the time we get to the end of the week, when I'm questioning you in meetings, okay, I'm going to hand you a dry eraser. Get up here on the board and explain to me what it is that the offense is doing and how we're going to attack it defensively. Now, I'm going to teach you and show you how to do it, but I need you to show me that you understand what we're doing and why we're doing it. So now I make them apply, not only based upon what they've studied and what they've seen through film study, but now you can show me on the whiteboard what's actually going on. Now you're starting to play football.
All right, so I got two questions for you. Number one, based on what you just said, how are you delivering that message to players of today? Are you using it in an emotional, passionate, Seth Joyner voice, the way he was taught to play the game back when you played the game? Or are you using a different approach to getting your message across
I can
today's
mix it
player?
up. I appeal to what it is, D-Gun. I appeal to what it is that they want. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Because my question is, if you're my starting linebacker, Mike, if you're my starting linebacker, my question at the beginning of OTAs, how great do you want to be? How good do you want to be? Okay? If you tell me you want to be great and you tell me you want to be good, this is what we have to do in order for me to get you there.
Right.
As long as I understand what it is that you want to do, now you show me the commitment that this is what you want, that your words are going to match up with your actions, okay? And then I'm going to give you the tools and everything that you need to be successful.
So say I'm the head coach, and I call you in the office because some players are saying that Seth Joyner's being a little too tough. the way Eric Bieniemy got called on the carpet this summer or in training camp because players are grumbling about him being too tough, trying to get them to learn his system. So if a head coach looks you in the face today, you got to be shocked if some coach says that to you.
What did Ron Rivera say? Ron Rivera said, hey, this is the way we're going to do things. And they started off, 2-1?
2-0.
Then they started off 2-1,
Yeah.
2-0?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can't argue with success. You can't argue with success. Look at some of these teams that haven't won a game or that are like 2-3 games below 500.
Right.
I guarantee you the coaches are allowing the players to run the situation, and that's why they're not winning. You looked at Nick Sirianni today. He was on one today all game long.
Yeah, he was.
Okay? Because he realizes that the crux and the meat of this schedule is right around the corner.
That's right.
And I've got to get these guys ready now because you're not going to play Miami, San Francisco, Buffalo, Dallas twice.
Yep.
You're not going to play these teams, Miami. You're not going to play these teams and have success with us continuing to play the way that we played. So it takes a coach that will hold his players accountable. It's not me chewing their behind, D-Gun. It's me holding them accountable to them telling me that this is what I want. No. I want to be the best player that I can be. We want to win a Super Bowl. Well, if we want to win the Super Bowl, and I'm the head coach, and I'm telling you how to get from point A to point B,
right.
do what I'm telling you.
No, I'm not saying you chewing it, but I'm saying speaking with the passion that I know a Seth Joyner will speak with. That's all I'm saying.
He'd still speak with that.
Yeah, I'm saying but nowadays some of these kids get offended by this
stuff.
Not
get softer.
No, I think today was the best example. Today was the best example of why Nick Sirianni is a good coach. Because Jalen Hurts loves this kind of coaching. If you had confidence in Jalen Hurts after last year not turning into Carson Wentz, it was because of the mental makeup that he has as a quarterback.
Mark.
On the other side of it, you could also look at a guy like Quez Watkins. What did Nick Sirianni say in preseason? What did he say in training camp? Oh, this guy, Quez Watkins, he's great. He coached him up. He butted him up. He was that soft, sweet talker that whole time. And then today what happens? He doesn't follow his blocks, and he chews them out. That's why Nick Sirianni
I think the dichotomy, though, is like he can do – Jalen Hurts is more receptive to that. Like,
Jalen Hurts is a 45-year-old trapped in a 25-year-old body.
But wait a minute.
Let me give you another quarterback.
Wait a minute.
Justin Fields. Could you say the same?
No. Justin Fields was shut down.
You don't know that, though. You don't know that. Listen. Nick Sirianni understands his football team. You understand what I'm saying? And if he can chew out his starting franchise quarterback, who's making $50+ million a year, if he can chew him out and hold him accountable, that sends a message to everybody else on the roster that this is how we operate. You either get on board or get the hell off the wagon.
But Jalen Hurts is more mature than most 25-year-olds you will ever see.
I understand that.
The maturity level is incredible for that young man.
I understand it, but it's in the messaging. Because
it is.
Because that conversation was not so much for Jalen Hurts as it was for the 52 other guys.
I agree.
All right. So a little insight as we're watching the game here. There was a play that Morrow had an interception, and he fumbled.
Wait, Mike, do that again. What did he do, Mike?
That's actually exactly what he did. That was good.
He did one of those, like Manos de Pietros, which is hands of stone. And so we go to Seth. Seth, would you have had that? Seth goes, man, I had 25 interceptions.
Should have had 35.
I had 25 interceptions. Right. He knew the exact amount. But you did allow. You said I did drop a few.
I did. Listen, we all drop a few. But you know what the problem is in that situation? Those opportunities for some guys, they only come around like once a season. Like he's going to get that kind of situation once this year. He may not get that opportunity again. So what happens is guys get a little overly excited. I used to, the coaches and the players I played with, they used to walk around and they used to slap the ball out of my hand all the time because I always had a ball in my hand. I was always trying to play catch because I wanted to familiarize my hand with the ball so when it hit my hand, I would catch it. Now, I had my share of interceptions, but I'm telling you right now, I dropped my shares as well, getting overly excited about the prospect of intercepting the ball. Like I caught 25, but I probably dropped another 10 to 15. Can you imagine if I caught them all? I'd probably be in the Hall of Fame right now if I caught them all.
A quick aside question. What happens to linebackers and defensive backs they're all athletes. They probably were like you, where you played offense, you played quarterback, you played running back, whatever, and you were an athlete, and you were used to catching the ball. What happens to these guys once they get to this level as far as catching the football?
They can catch the football. You go through catching drills every day in practice. It's just in the moment you get overly excited about the prospect of getting an interception because those opportunities, they're so far and few in between. It's not like a wide receiver. Like A.J. Brown knows he's going to get 15 targets a game. So everything he does is just you see how smooth that was? You know, when
do that again? How'd you do it?
So when
that's pretty good.
Yeah,
that was nice.
That'll be a gift.
That was coordinated too.
So as a linebacker or sometimes a defensive back, you know, you see a ball coming, you got one opportunity a game. It's like, ah!
Well, you know what? Taking into consideration too, you know, a lot of linebackers, they wear a lot of tape on their hands and stuff. Your hands are sweaty, or even on a cold day, they're not thinking about catching the ball. You know, the ball feels different a lot of times when it hits your hands too.
Man.
That happens as well. Now, come on now.
That
does happen.
It does, but with the gloves, that these guys play with now, I mean, they're like
Velcro.
It's like Velcro when it touches the ball. I mean, you see more one-handed catches now than you ever seen, and that's because of the way that the gloves are constructed. So if you can catch the ball, like that ball AJ caught today, he caught the point of the ball.
Yeah.
You know, and most of those one-handed catches, very rarely do you see a guy whose hand is big enough to catch the fat part of the ball. Most of the time, if you can catch the tip of the ball and stop the rotation of the ball and stop the forward progress of the ball, you can one-hand it. But with the gloves that these guys have got now, come on, man, there ain't no reason to be dropping them. You only get a few of those. You better catch and make them plays when you can, baby.
All right, let's take a quick break. The great Kayla Santiago will join us. What the Diamond Debate coming up, and what kind of bling is she wearing today? It is the Pond Lehocky Eagles postgame show with Mike and Derek and Seth. Kayla coming up, Farzy, the whole bang, John McMullen. This show is like got a lot of spokes to it. We're back after that.
Farming them up and good play calling along the way. First and goal at the 6.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.